unplug from online. This whole idea that like you're running out of time if you're 22 and like, bro, it's just bullshit. I think people just really need to evaluate like what do they want, not what other people want for their life or what they think makes them successful or this, that, like actually what do you want? Everyone wants to be the king, but no one wants to, be a pawn. And you have to learn how to be a pawn. And really successful people, they have noise always. There's always this stuff. There's this thing that needs to be done, that thing. So you can't even enjoy the things that you have. Understand internet is not the real world. And number two, I know it's hard to hear, but you just got to be patient. You're not your accomplishments. You're not your accolades. You're not these materialistic things that you have. Like people love you for you. And if people don't love you for you in your life, go find people that fucking do.
Gurulandia!
Che è il tuo podcast preferito?
È per sti cazzi.
Gurulandia, adesso Muschio Selvaggio non esiste più.
Gurulandia!
Gurulandia, ma va a cagare! Poesia!
Gurulandia, scatenate l'inferno.
Hello everyone!
Ciao a tutti.
Welcome Iman to Gurulandia. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Thanks for being here. You are very inspiring to me, but I think you are inspiring every single person that works in this industry. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
So Iman, let's start with a simple question, okay?
Okay.
Beyond the titles of entrepreneur, co-owner, investor, whatever, who's Iman in your own words? That was simple.
Yeah, simple. Yeah, start off with a simple question.
Yeah, it's always like that.
Listen, I think that answer changes from seasons of life, and I think that's kind of the whole purpose of life. Every 3 years, I feel like I kind of reinvent myself, or every 3 years, I guess I kind of step into a new season of life. I feel like especially in the last year or so, there's been a lot of change. I've grown up in many ways. I guess like everyone else, I'm just a guy trying to figure it out, just trying to do my best.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about business a little bit. This is, of course, is an episode where we're going to talk about business. You started with an agency, right? And then move to selling digital products. So what was the mental click that made you realize the future was with scalable assets and not like selling your time?
First things first, every business has pros and cons, and I do things that aren't scalable, like for example, throwing these crazy events. So for me, I guess it wasn't like a black and white, okay, I'm going to go from, because I had my agency and then I started selling info offer as well. And I did both for, many, many years together. So the timeline was basically, I've been uploading on YouTube now on the 26th of December. It'll be 10 years.
That's crazy.
So I uploaded my first video 26th of December, 2015.
Jesus.
Yeah, 2015 So
how many subscribers you have right now? Do you know? On your channel now? 1 million, right?
5 million something.
Crazy.
So yeah, obviously as I was building my business and my agency, at first it wasn't really an agency. I basically, my background is in photo video. So my background was in photo video, and I was getting clients and I was doing photo shoots and video shoots. And then from there I had the first client that was like, okay, cool. Can you do this as a monthly ongoing thing? So then that kind of became social media management. And as all this is happening, and then I went from like that to hiring my first employee at the age of 17, dropping out of school and building the business. And this entire time, like I'm basically just doing these vlogs that, very few people were watching back then, but hey, I was still making them for my enjoyment. And I eventually got to a point where people were like, okay, like, how are you doing this? What are you doing? How are you getting clients? How are you servicing clients? So I started, I would just help people in my DMs. And then eventually I got too busy, so I had to start charging for it. And then from there, you start maxing out of that, and you're like, okay, cool, I can charge less per person, but it's infinitely more scalable. Mm-hmm. And that was the first agency program I released was in January of 2018.
All right, so it's been 7 years now that you're in info business, and
7
you're
years.
Very young. So that's crazy. That's fantastic. Good job. Already.
Thank you.
And what about now? If someone who want to start an online business, which one would you recommend? I mean, you're from zero, totally.
For me personally, it's services.
Okay.
My barometer for what you should start, actually, it can be services or it can be a product. For me, the biggest priority is that you don't risk too much money.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I'm sure in your first year as an entrepreneur, your biggest risk is you. And the truth is, like, it's probably going to take longer than you anticipate. It's probably going to be harder than you anticipate. And the issue is, if one person has 3 spins of the slot machine and the other person has unlimited spins of the slot machine, of course, the person who has unlimited spins of the slot machine, they're far more likely to make it work. And that's the way I see starting a business when you're first starting out, is if you're in some of these industries and some of these, online money-making methods and this and that,
blah, 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 yeah.
And you're going to lose money on ads because you're running ads for your e-commerce store, or you're in trading, and you can make some money, but you can also lose a lot of money. Like, eventually you can get to a point where you've got no money left, and when you've got no money left, now you can't play the game anymore. And that's why I like anything that's service-based. So for me, it was like picking up a camera, which I was already doing, and then now I was charging for it. If you're really good at, some people are just freakishly good at chess because they played chess growing up.
Sure.
So just being
a
chess coach, like things that you can basically get the business rolling for $100 or $200. And you can basically fail for a year, which to me isn't really failing. You're just adjusting your compass. You can basically fail for a year and nothing's going to happen. Like, you're not going to bankrupt yourself, and you can keep playing the game until eventually, like I said, it might take longer than you imagine, but eventually you will figure it out. As long as you don't run out of cash in that process.
Sure. From your words, I read like work on personal brand, right? I mean, I think it's something very important today. And I think this is something I say to everyone I know. If you want to know how to work with the personal brand, how to elevate your personal brand, like, check it out. Look at Iman. Iman is the greatest to do that. Your personal brand right now, I think, value around $100 million. So it's totally crazy. I don't know if I get wrong. Just let me know. And what is the most important piece for you? The piece of advice you would give for everyone that want to have a personal brand like yours? There is something, a secret, or I don't know.
Take whatever you do and accentuate it. I think when you have a personal brand, you do need to take who you are and crank up the dial by 20 or 30%. At the end of the day, like, people follow people that are interesting. So also, like, that's why for a long time, like, if you want to know why I wasn't well known, listen, I'm maybe well known now in the previous 3 years. Before that, like, very few people knew about me. And that's because, number one, especially for the first, like, I guess 3 or 4 years, I wasn't, not to say I wasn't interesting, but I was building myself as a person. And in that process, some people find that interesting and find that fascinating. So you basically have to take who you are and then crank up the dial by 20 or 30%. But it's very important that people don't try to be me, and it's very important that I don't try to be you, because I'm not you, you're not me.
So be yourself.
Yeah, like, as cliche as that sounds, basically be yourself, but then turn up the dial slightly, and you can lean into things, and you can, I think, the best personal brands are a little bit larger than life, but it still has to be congruent to who you are as a person. You need to still speak the way you speak. You still need to present the way that you want to present. As I said, I shouldn't try to be another person shouldn't try to be me. And I think, like, the audience is smart, and they'll understand whether you're being authentic to yourself or not. So, if you authentically dress in a certain way, dress that way. And also, like, feel free to, like, turn up the dial on that even. Sure. But don't think you need to dress a certain way. Don't think that your content needs to be a certain presentation. Don't think that you need to spend your money in ways that other people, maybe you're more interested in this thing, well, like, lean more into that. Like, a lot of the things that became cool, or people think are cool, it's like, no, I was just doing it. I thought it was cool. Like, I've always, well, I say always, from the past 6-7 years, I've been very into, like, film photography. So a certain way to, like, shoot things. As I said, because my background is in photo video, I like things.
For sure, hyped.
I like things shot in a certain way. I like things presented in a certain way. Now, for me, that works for me. That doesn't work for another person.
Sure.
And I shouldn't try to have another person's editing style or this or that. And I shouldn't try to make jokes in the same way other people should try to make jokes. So I think just really sit down and ask yourself, what makes you you? Like, what do you like? What do you enjoy? And even if you have hobbies outside of business, like, you can pull that into business, or you can pull that into your world. Yeah. If you're really into coffee, incorporate more coffee stuff, because that sets you apart. Of course, your main thing needs to be whatever business that your personal brand is helping fuel, but you can tie in these other, like, weird interests and hobbies and stuff like that.
There's some technical question I would like to ask regarding the filming. Do you think quantity is over quality, or vice versa?
Listen, ideally you do both.
Yeah, I know.
But I think you do enough quantity to figure out what quality actually is.
Because I've seen, especially from your side, but even to other personal brand, like a very precise strategy, which is like freebooting, you know. So like lots of secondary page that just boost your content to go viral. It's something that works. It's something that you recommend to other.
If you have the means, it's very, like, it's not easy because we have 70 accounts that we own ourselves.
Crazy.
So basically what I saw a lot of people doing very well with short form, but they were doing very well with short form with affiliates. And the thing is, a lot of times, like, when those aren't your internal team, they just clip up stuff that gets the most amount of views, but views doesn't always mean like that's what you want your brand to be about. So my team has always been in-house. We have a full in-house short form department. At some point it was 65 people full-time. Like, once again, full-time, just with the company.
65.
Yeah, daily stand-up meetings. Like, that was insane. That was about 3 years ago. And then as time has gone on, we've made the team smaller, more efficient. I think now it's 18 full-time. And yeah, it's just another.
I've seen also many clipping agency are.
Yeah, once again, you can like, for me, it's at some point I was spending $250,000 a month just on that department in salaries, and there's no ROI on it. Like, I actually don't know what the return on investment is because we don't sell anything on our short form. So there's no like link to, and that's why, like, with the other people, they had affiliates, because then, you know, they were making money, the affiliates are making money, so it's easier to track. But as I said, it's harder to like put boundaries on what you want your brand, how you want it to come across. So yeah, let's say, for example, you work with an agency. I don't think most people need to build it in-house. It's way too much work. If you work with an agency, you'll be able to tell them, hey, I want this, I don't want this. They already have the clippers there ready to go. So
that's good. It should be it's something that I want to try. So another question is, why WOP? Why WOP? Because there are many opportunities right there. So I would like to know why you decide to become a co-owner of WOP. What have you seen in WOP that others didn't? You know.
First things first is team. Like, the team are just absolute savages. I think it's also like the energy. Without getting into specifics, there's about 5 or 6 different companies I was looking at, and like I studied these. I know every single aspect of all these businesses. I have the data room for all these companies. I negotiated my final terms with all these businesses. But they all kind of have different energies. So WOP is, have you ever been to WOP offices?
I agree. Yeah, I've been there like last week, actually.
Yeah. What was it like?
They were great. Yeah, absolutely.
So you know the energy when you step into the WOP office?
It's like a family. You can feel that, you know?
And it's a go-getter energy, which is kind of where I'm at in life. Some of the other companies were in California, Miami. There's actually one in Brazil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's another very, very good company in Brazil. Yeah, it's just, I resonated the most with WOP, with the energy of WOP, with the like fast go-get-it energy of WOP. And then also, I think sometimes people compare WOP to some other companies and platforms. For me, like, listen, they all coexist happily. WOP is very interesting because we do a lot of things.
A lot.
Yeah, we do a lot of things. Sometimes it can be too much. But I guess that's a part of, if you look at any great company, if you look at how many different initiatives Google or Meta have had over the years, that like people forget, like, it was a thing. Amazon, and they tried it and they're like, actually that's not a priority for our company. And I love that about WOP. I think obviously at the stage we're at right now, sometimes maybe we do need to slow down a little bit. But yeah, since our last raise in June 2024, the company has grown almost 6x. So it's been great, and it's
growing and growing, huh?
Yeah,
what's your 10-year vision for WOP?
Well,
difficult question. Or?
Well, no, it's a difficult question, and the answer is, first things first, there's my personal vision, and then there's also the rest of the company's vision. And I think that's kind of the hard part about being a multi-billion-dollar company with very significant shareholders and multiple co-founders. I have to, which for me sometimes can be a little tricky, I have to basically always remember that, like, my say isn't the final say. No one's say is the final say because of the size of the business. For me, the biggest focus by far in 2025 was payments, building our payment infrastructure, our financing infrastructure, pay-ins and payouts. Like, it's crazy. There's so many of our quantum clients, for example, that before jumping on board with WAP, were paying like $300,000-$400,000 a year just in FX fees, like losing that.
That's me.
And,
absolutely.
And now, like, for example, is your operating company in UAE?
Yes, UAE.
Yeah. So, for example, what we would have
Mostly, yeah.
for a lot of people that before they were using WAP is they would, for example, use, let's say, UAE Stripe. They would use UAE Stripe, and unfortunately, I don't know what the situation is now, but at least as of 9 months
You
ago,
have to convert the currency.
you would charge USD, it would sit in USD, but you could only get paid out in AED.
Yes.
Right. So then now you're eating FX fees, and there's all these. So it's just that for me was a big focus in 2025. I think now, genuinely, in terms of payments, no one comes close to us for this industry. And I tell people all the time, they're like, "Oh, I want to move over my hosting from this platform," and I'm like, honestly, like, host wherever you want to host. If that is with WAP, because I think WAP, we're doing some really cool stuff on hosting. Of course, I'm always very honest with our clients, especially with consulting. And I'm like, there's some things that WAP is really good for and some things that it's not the best for. I think what we've gone a lot better at in the last 9 months is the hosting side of things. For me, that's what is very cool, is now inside of my personal WAP, for our clients, like, I've got multiple softwares inside of there. We've got our live streams, we've got our coaching, we've got community, we've got the courses, but then I literally have multiple AI tools embedded inside of there. We've got Ask Iman, we've got like proper full-blown softwares that we port in. So it's like a full ecosystem, which is amazing.
I'm using it every day, so yeah, I can say that. But at the end of the day, if you have to choose, okay, you can choose only one. Would you do infobusiness or software right now?
It's tricky because, as I said, there's no perfect business. So I love the cash flow.
Well, it's your personal opinion.
I would take info.
Because of the cash flow.
Because of cash flow. I think, like, a lot of people in info, they just truly don't understand, like, if you're making even, well, first of all, the most important thing is when you're in the info space, what I call the knowledge business. When you're in the knowledge business, please invest your money. Like, when you invest your money, I think we were actually having this discussion on the plane the
flight,
day, on the flight over here. We ended up randomly sitting next to each other.
Yes.
And
I'm your nightmare in this way.
Huh?
I'm your nightmare.
No, bro, it was great. I enjoyed it. Our cabins were like right next to each other. I was like, oh shit. Hey.
Hi, Iman. How you doing?
But yeah, I told you, like, put it into a compound calculator. If you invest, let's say, whatever, $2-3 million a year from the business, what that does over 10 years or 20 years.
It's crazy, yeah.
And I think I'm one of those people, I'd rather have a 90% guarantee. And I do think if you have a cash flow business, you pretty much have a 90% guarantee of being, like, wealthy. And what I mean by wealthy is over a space of 10 to 20 years, you will 100% have an investment portfolio of anywhere from 10 to 150 million in this industry if you do things right and if you invest majority of what you make. And I would much rather have a personal investment portfolio after 10 years of 10 to 150 million, could even be more, depending on how much you're actually putting into your portfolio. I'd rather that than like a 5% chance or a 3% chance or even a 1% chance of, okay, getting a $700 million exit. And also the thing is, like, when you get a $700 million exit, most people don't understand, like, dilution, cap table, liquid pref. I mean, even here, like, for example, we've got, in a few hours, we've got my good friend Shahed, co-founder of Loom. He sold his business for
Crazy, yeah.
for
$1 billion, I think?
For $970 million.
Yeah.
Almost $1 billion. And, I'm sure he's open and honest of saying, like, obviously he didn't walk away with $1 billion. It's a very different number. It's an incredible number, but it's very different. So I would prefer these consistent, I prefer the consistent, slow, steady returns of a cash flow business. Put that into your investment portfolio.
Probably me too.
And let that compound over time.
But what about, do you think the info business is going to, because with the rise of AI, where is the value of the guru when actually the AI can create courses and everything else? Yeah,
so this is one of the big things I've been telling all of our consulting.com clients is, you're not in the business of information, you're in the business of transformation. So however you deliver that, like, for example, for us, like, in our offer, like 90% of it is software. 90% of it is software, especially now when we reopen, because we only sell 3 times a year. A big part of it is actually services. So the course is like one thing of like 12 things that you get inside of it. So for me, I actually don't care what you sell. By the way, like someone could come and they could be one of our quantum clients, and at the end they could sell. It could be at the end they could sell software, they could sell physical products. It doesn't matter what you sell. For me personally, it just, you have clients and customers. You're trying to get them a result. Whatever the best way is to get them that result, that's what you do. So as long, I think this idea of like you just have a course. And by the way, that's not to say that like courses are going away. You've seen the way the market's going. It's only getting bigger and bigger. It's just to say that I really like it when people have a bit more creativity with what they're offering than just like, oh, it's just a course.
All right. Yeah. I think also with the rise of AI and blah, 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 it's a great opportunity to start an info business even faceless. Right now, I've seen many people, of course, you have to go low ticket. You cannot go high ticket. But even faceless that, I mean, they're raising a lot of money. They're making a lot of money.
Yep.
It's great.
Listen, there's many ways to make money in this industry, whether it's faceless, with your face, high ticket, low ticket, subscription. There's so many options.
Yeah. So Iman, if you don't mind, I have some personal question. Okay. You said even men cry in another interview. In a world that always wants you to be strong, how do you manage your vulnerability? This is something I
think I'm probably a bad person to ask that, because I'm not very emotional, and I think that's I try to tell people this all the time.
I can see that.
I try to tell people.
We never see your. Sorry if I'm interrupting you. We never see your emotions. Your, that's why I'm asking that.
Listen, when you meet me, I'm not a flat person. It's not like I'm dull all the time.
Okay.
But I have these bounds. So, for example, when bad things happen, it only affects me this much, whereas maybe for other people it affects them this much. But on the flip side, when good things happen, it only affects me this much, whereas other people it affects them this much.
So you stay there.
So, and I think that's what people, because people want to be stoic. They're like, oh, I want to be stoic, or I don't want to be less emotional. And it's like, yeah, understand that's great when things are bad, but also when things are good, that also means you don't feel it as much. So it just simply comes down to, like, in the same way when you go to the gym, of course you're going to form calluses, right? Because and that also means that things hurt less, but you also feel less. And that's basically the way that I am right now. It's if I didn't have this level of sort of emotional stress tolerance, if I didn't have this level of stress tolerance, like nothing around me would be possible, because, we wake up and of course there's problems all the time, and I wake up, there'd be a problem, and I'd be in bed all day, depressed and not wanting to get out of bed. So I don't think you should ever suppress things. I don't suppress things. It's just I think as time has gone on, you start
Makes sense. So if you vanished from the internet tomorrow, right? This is a very nice question. What's the final video you would post? Only the final one. You have only one. It would be business related, personal, some, one father skill you want to personally teach to your future son. I don't know.
There's a book I want to write that releases the day that I die, because there's a lot, like, I'm sure you know this, there's a lot of things that you pick up in life and a lot of wisdoms you pick up in life that unfortunately you just can't talk about. Because it's not like, for me, at the end of the day, I am a significant shareholder in many businesses. It's not, I have a big team, I can't just say crazy shit or stuff that's not, like, I speak my mind, as you know, but there's like certain sets of rules for life that when all this is said and done, I'm gonna release it. For example, I don't know if you ever read, there's a book called How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis. It's like one of my favorite books ever.
All right.
And I didn't read it for a long time because I just thought it was another, bog standard self-development business book, because the title, How to Get Rich. I was like, but basically, this guy writes it at the end of his career, and he's like, listen, the reason I'm writing this is because I'm worth $500 million or $350 million or whatever it was. I'm writing this while drinking a $6,000 bottle of red wine, and I just don't give a shit anymore. So like, and I can speak because honestly, I just don't give a fuck anymore. And that's what I want to release when basically my actions don't affect anyone else. I don't care about me. It's just my actions affecting other people. And there's like a real sort of set of life wisdom that I've picked up over the year, and pattern recognition that I've spotted, because I'm very good with people and reading people and understanding people and keeping a tight ship and a good culture and knowing who the bad actors are and who the good actors are. So that's what I would want to release.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. So yesterday night, when we went to the pub, I asked to every single member of your team to make one question for you.
Oof.
All right. So let's start with that because it's very funny. Let's start with Tristan. Tristan had a great one actually. If you could talk to 20-year-old Iman, so 5 years ago, what would you tell him to put himself in a better position in life, not business, just life? I ask them to do that because they know you very well, so they could go deeply. You know, it's something I do with every guest.
It's just so tough because I'm so happy with the way life's worked out. So I really
That's great, actually.
So I genuinely just wouldn't want to change anything. And I feel like even the life lessons that I might have given myself, I feel like you really have to live through it to understand it. Like I've made so many mistakes, but you know they're mistakes, but you have to experience it to know it's a mistake.
So you actually happy to made those mistakes?
For sure. Yeah, because also the thing is like you can know something and you can have you want to try your best to get wisdom from other people so you don't have to live through it yourself. But there's certain things you just have to go through and you have to experience yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Alex sent over this one, which I love. Today a kid, and this is so serious actually. Today a kid opens Instagram or TikTok and it's all cars, vehicles, watches, blah blah blah. What advice would you give to this generation to not get their brain fried by the flashy lifestyle online and to actually focus on what truly matters? Just turn off the phone? I don't know.
Yeah, you just have to turn off your phone, and you just also have to understand that like online is not the real world. And I know that even and that's why I try to in all my videos, even now, like I always try to say like it's going to take longer than you think. I always try to remind people like, listen, I have 10 years of my life documented, and for the first many years like it wasn't successful. And by the way, even before I started uploading, 2 years prior to that, I started meditating, reading a book a week, like doing all these things to like prepare my vessel to make sure that when there was an opportunity to make money, like I was a person that could capitalize on these things. So all that to say, So all of that to say that understand internet is not the real world. And number two, I know it's hard to hear, but you just got to be patient. And as I said, I know it's tough because you'll look at even someone like me at 25 and go, oh, they've accomplished X, Y, Z. But in the same way, bear in mind, there's stuff I'm accomplishing at 25. People are now doing it at 18. And I also understand, I don't think less of myself because of that. I just know you were living in a different time. Because I get people who are like 40 and they're like, I can't believe what you accomplished at your age. And I was like, yeah, but like that's a bit unfair to say to yourself because I had opportunities you didn't have. So I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate to be the beneficiary of opportunities that this person didn't get. In the same way, the 18-year-olds that are, doing crazy things now, they have opportunities that I didn't have. So yeah, you have to unplug from online. This whole idea that like you're running out of time if you're 22 and like, bro, it's just bullshit. Like just also enjoy your life. And I think that's also the thing that anyone who's around us realizes, like we enjoy our life. I don't put money as the number one first priority, especially when you're starting young, like you're going to be successful. And also all of the material things, I'm sure as it gets boring very quickly, and you don't need that much in life, or at least not what people, like most people, if you ask most people, they think they need like hundreds of millions and only then they'll live well. At the beginning,
yes, they think about it, but then, are you bored about your material stuff? Or you're still enjoying it?
Listen, for me, I follow a rule. I have to spend X amount because I also look at my age, and I also understand like at 25, I can do things that I can't do at 55. So for me, I force myself to spend a certain percentage of my income. It's becoming more and more difficult, and that percentage actually every year keeps going down because also like there's no point spending just on stuff that doesn't give you joy. For me, you have to find the things that give you joy and over-index and overspend on those, and the things that you don't care about, keep spending less and less on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess there's certain material things that give me joy.
I love watches. I know that you have like a huge collection. I've seen from one of your Instagram stories that you have one of my dream Rolex, the Daytona Rainbow in white gold, which is so crazy. I mean, it's huge. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
but do you buy Rolex from a retail?
Retail, yeah.
That's crazy.
How
do you do that?
So I guess that for me that was cool. So there's in UK, I walked into this Rolex store, and the first watch I bought from them was actually a watch from my first ever business mentor.
All right.
Who kind of took me under his wing. Shout out Bob. And yeah, so I bought him a Rolex in 2018, and then since then I've been buying.
It's all about the relationship, right? With
I mean, it's. I will be honest as well. Like I've probably spent like, I don't know, maybe 10 million on watches, but I've made
Crazy.
30-40% back on it. So
of course,
for me, that's also the other thing that I look at. My mentality isn't how much am I spending on this, it's how much am I losing. So if I'm not losing anything, like for example, art, I don't care about art particularly, or at least at this stage of my life, but if I could have a $10 million art collection that I know for a fact is worth 14 million, well then fuck it. Like either that money's sitting in the bank or it's being used here. Like sometimes you just enjoy it. And as I said, I think it's important that people think about how much money they're losing on something, not how much money are they spending.
Do you ever sell something or not?
What?
Watches. Have you ever sold?
Yeah, I mean, some of the
sometimes,
stuff.
Okay.
Listen, some of the stuff from 7 years ago, and then the new reference comes out.
You don't wear anymore.
And then you have two of the same watches. So yeah, over the years, I bought hundreds of watches. So and to be honest, I don't really even wear watches that much anymore. These days, I stick to leather pieces mainly, or just stuff that I don't know makes me happy, or like weird quirky ones.
Okay. All right, let's go back to the final questions from Luis. Luis sent this evil question. If tomorrow you weren't allowed to do business, marketing, entrepreneurship at all, but you'd still be paid very well for any job, which one would you choose?
So if I wasn't allowed to be a business owner?
Yeah. No business, no marketing and entrepreneur, nothing. One job. You have to pick one job. This is the Luis question.
I would find an incredible company. You know, like for example, like I would go work at a company like ours, or I would go work at a company like a company like WAP, for example, where you get to learn a lot. I think there's certain companies that are just so bureaucratic and just so like there's a SOP and everything's by the book, and you're even if you're paid very handsomely, you don't feel like you're learning and evolving. So I would just find a company which I know, and after speaking to other people that work at the company, values people that work on themselves, and improve their skill set, and are also compensated fairly for that, and can work their way up the ladder and work their way up in a company, and are always constantly pushed and are learning. I think that's incredible. Like being an entrepreneur, entrepreneur inside of a company that has these entrepreneurial tendencies, but still works in a big organization where everyone's moving up. I think that's like one of the best things that you can have, because you get a lot of the benefits without a lot of the headaches.
I had the opportunity to talk with, I think, every single member of your team, and all of them say the same thing. I mean, I just love working in this company and blah, blah, blah. I think this is maybe one of the reasons that you are so successful, that the company is so successful. It is genuinely,
hand on heart, the biggest reason.
Yeah.
Team
building, friendship between you and the other guys, maybe.
Yeah, and it annoys me sometimes because I'll see people and they'll be like, "Oh, I would be nothing without my team," and you can just tell it's like some PR train like bullshit. But like genuinely, like it's because of my team, because I can only do so much. So I'll give myself credit for the fact that I am very good at finding the right people, understanding how to speak.
Which is not easy at all, huh? I mean,
and not only just finding the right people, understanding I have to speak to a person this way, whereas this person I can speak to in this way, and like you have to be good with people and understand that like everyone has their own quirks, and also people have their own dreams and interests, and you're basically like your biggest goal as a leader in the company is how do you let other people's dreams live within your dream, right? Because if you guys all are going in the same way and you guys can all benefit from being in the same boat, then that's when truly incredible things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Very beautiful. Nice advice. Ali. Ali said, we always see you calm. It's something that I said before to you. We always see you calm, composed, never too high, never too low. How do you maintain that level of calm? And does anything ever hit you when you are alone?
So in general, yeah, I am very calm and collected. I think that's just been
composed. Yeah,
I think that's just through years and years of experience. But I will say about twice a year I get this always happens to me. Twice a year for about 1 week I get really jaded, and I get into like even me, no matter how strong I am mentally, I'll get into a place where like I'll be like actually very ungrateful, and I get into like a spiral of like, why me, or like just all this stupid shit, like why me, or like, oh, there's so much responsibility, or like, because I'm always like, when good things happen, for sure I benefit, but trust me, there's so much bad shit that happens that I'm always the one that has to fucking deal with it. I'm always the one that has to pay for it. I'm always the one that's on the line, even if it wasn't my mistake. And that's part of being a leader, right? You don't get the good without the bad. So sometimes, of course, I'm like, you know, it's been so many years now. I genuinely I don't need to work. I TikTok, and you know, and not need to work with a very, very, very comfortable lifestyle. And so, of course, sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this, blah, blah, this. And then I just remind myself, like, and that goes on for about a week. And I know myself at this point. Sometimes I just let myself have that, like, week to think like that. And then I remind myself, pressure is a privilege. And at the end of the day, no one has a gun to my head and is saying, you have to, I get to do this. I don't have to do this, I get to do this. So I think sometimes for me, it's actually healthy to like let myself be in a bad mental place for like 1 week. You know, in the same way, sometimes it's good to let yourself just like have like a couple days where you let yourself go. Sometimes that's actually healthy for you. You just let yourself go for little days. You kind of like let it out, and then you like move on with your life.
Okay.
So it's about twice a year that happens to me.
Nice. All right. So Iman, of course, this is the last question. This is an Italian podcast, right? So what do you think about Italy? Have you been in Italy? No, for sure.
Of course, I love Italy.
What do you think about it?
I was considering moving there.
Yeah, really?
It was between Dubai and Italy. So in 2020, because of course you guys have the flat 100K a year. I mean, now it's 200. But
if you move to Italy, where would you move? Which place you choose?
I would have many places.
Yeah.
I mean, Italy's so beautiful. So it's like, I would probably live in Milan just because it's most metropolitan. I would have my place further out, like an hour out towards Como. So I have my place there. I have my place in Milan.
So you like that area? Not the south?
No, I love the south.
Yeah,
I love all of it. But it's just for
That's
me,
right.
like, I still need to be in a major city.
Okay.
So like for me, I like
Makes sense.
in the same way I love about London, like you have London, and then an hour out you go, and it's the most beautiful countryside you've ever seen in your entire life. So you have London, so you can have your central base in London, and then, you know, 45 minutes out or even 90 minutes out, you're in the Cotswolds. I have a few friends that have like beautiful houses in the Cotswolds. So I like that with Milan. You know, same thing, you got a metropolitan city, and then an hour away, you know, you can still have a lot of space to yourself and a little bit more of a calm, peace life.
You know the best part, if you want an advice, it's
What?
Tuscany.
I just went to my friend's place
Chianti
in
wine
Tuscany.
bar.
It's incredible.
That's
It's incredible.
beautiful. Siena, Firenze is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
So peaceful. If you like this countryside, is amazing. It's amazing right there. The
Maybe
green.
a little later on in life. For me right now, I still need to be in a major
No,
city.
makes sense. Makes sense.
Tuscany's incredible.
So we do a game with every single guest. The final one, I promise. It's
by the way, you can take your time.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like,
I don't want to bother you. You know.
bro, you take as much time as you need.
Okay,
It's
okay,
fine.
okay.
I don't think presentations are starting for a while, anyways.
All right.
So
Okay.
we can go as long as you want.
Okay. So if I can make some other question.
Bro, as long as you want.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
fine.
I have to read this one because it's long.
Okay.
So, because we were talking about Italy, you know, so you often talk about old school respect,
Mhm.
which is something I love actually. Opening doors, you know, paying the bill, honoring the tradition. In Italy, these values, trust me, are like biblical, really. Do you think the modern world is losing its soul by abandoning these traditions?
I think so, but of course I have cultural bias. So where I'm from in the world is right between the Middle East and Russia. So I'm from a place called Dagestan. So I guess a lot of it is culture. You know, I meet people from different cultures and they view the world in a totally different way. So for me personally, yes, I think so. And that's the way that I was raised, and that's the way that I'll raise my children. So yeah, I think also a large part of it comes from single mom, you know, only child as well. So that's a big thing in my culture. When you're the only child, like, you are taking care of your parents. Like, it's not even a discussion. And your parents need to be close. And as I said, especially just because it's me and my mom. Yeah, I guess I'm a bit old school. I'm very old school in a lot of ways. Even in business, I'm very old school. And I think that's one of the things that kind of breaks my heart to see, especially with a lot of people in their younger years that come into money. I find a lot of them don't have that, like, old school respect. And in the nice way possible, they kind of haven't been, like, slapped around by life enough, which I think is important. And I think as well, fortunately, I got this sort of old school respect from other ways in life. But one of the things that I wish I had, it actually was a job. I think having a job, like a physical manual labor job, it teaches you these things. And it teaches you like patience, respect, just dealing with shitty situations. And unfortunately, a lot of these people, fortunately and unfortunately, a lot of people, we live in this incredible world where you've got, you know, so many young individuals that are coming into money and becoming super successful, but I feel like they haven't really had that foundational bedrock of like knowing, everyone wants to be the king, but no one wants to, you know, be a pawn. And you have to learn how to be a pawn. Like, and unfortunately, if you go straight to king,
Even in order to be the king.
yeah, and unfortunately, you know, people just want to go straight to king and they don't want to work their way up those levels. And then when they get there, they can't stay there because, once again, the reason I'm able to manage my team so well is because in the same day, I can be a king, I can be a pawn, I can be a bishop, I can play so many different roles, and there's nothing that's beneath me. There's nothing I will ever ask my team to do that I won't do personally. And I think, I said, a lot of that comes from old school respect and old school values.
Right. Now you said you grow with a single mom, right? So do you think being responsible for a single mom at such a young age, actually, how did that change your perception at risk? You know, because, I mean, did you feel like you weren't allowed to fail because of your mom, you know?
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
No, honestly, not at all. No, she's always been so loving and sweet, and I don't think any part of her thought like it's your job to take care of me, blah blah. Like, we have a great relationship, and
but I'm not talking about the relationship. I'm talking about, you know, that's my single mom.
Listen, for me, it put a lot of pressure, for sure.
Correct. That's
for sure. Yeah. But it's, I guess, like, what is failure? You know, sometimes people be like, "Oh, I failed," and I'm like, but what does that mean? Like, I don't think anything I did was a failure. I just think it was like a
process.
It was a guess that I got wrong. Like, and there's some very large guesses that you make wrong in life, or predictions. So for me, I'm like, okay, I made this prediction, or I thought this was going to work out, and it didn't. But I don't think that's failure. I'm just like, to me, that's just more data points that I get to use. And that's more like, I'm just like constantly collecting information. I'm like, I tried, even to this day, like, there's so much shit that I'm doing, and I'm like, I thought I was going to do it this way, but after now trying this, I realized I need to figure out a different route. So like, we all have a final destination that we're getting to. It's just sometimes you have to recalibrate just because you go down one end and it's a dead end, that doesn't mean that you failed at getting to your destination. It just means like, you need to go back, you need to try a different route. And I think people need to be very careful with these words of, I failed. I don't think I've ever failed at anything in life. I really don't. I think I made guesses, and those guesses were incorrect, and I had to recalibrate my compass, but that's it.
Well, with this mindset, I mean, have you ever like felt afraid of returning poor or lose everything you made? You know what I mean?
No.
Never.
No, because at the end, like, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of other people's opinions? Are you afraid of your family? What are you actually afraid of? Like, my mom loves me no matter what. My friends love me no matter what. I've had a lot of my friends for 10 plus years. They love me before anything. They love me now. And I think, you know, that's one of the things I'm so grateful for, is like truly having so much love in my life. And I'm so thankful for my friends, because when you have that love in your life, you realize like you're not your accomplishments. You're not your accolades. You're not these materialistic things that you have. Like, people love you for you. And if people don't love you for you in your life, go find people that fucking do. Because trust me, there's a lot of people that will love you for me. There's a lot of people that love me, and there's a lot of people who meet me and they don't like me. And that's cool. That's fine. I'm not meant to be for everyone, and you're not meant to be for everyone. And for the people watching, they're not meant to be for everyone. Go find the people that love you for you as a person. And when you do that, I think it just takes all this pressure off of like, oh, if I fail, if I this, if I that. And I think I also just, because I've studied so many careers, sometimes one of my favorite things to do is I'll spend like an entire month dedicated to just someone's career. Like someone very successful. But like, you know, people always go, like, they'll read very like shallow books about like Elon Musk and this, and they'll just do the surface. I'm like, no, I want to know exactly what did you do at 33, what was the failure at 36, and I want to reflect it, I want to think, and I'm just going to study your entire career. Every single book I can find, every single piece of literature about you, every biography, every talk you've given. Like, I just study people's careers so much, and I've just seen it so often where people are failures until they're 29, and okay, what, they're failures, and then at 43 they're billionaires. So it's like, are you a failure? Well, like, does that make you a failure? So yeah, I don't worry about these things. I don't stress about these things. Now, of course, as time goes on, you have to, and you have more responsibility around you. I think responsibility changes a lot of things. It's funny, my loved ones, the people closest to me, sometimes they're like, you know what, you should do things for you. And I remind them, I'm like, guys, if I did things for me, like in the nice way possible, all of you guys are fucking gone. Because if I just wanted to act in my own selfish interest, okay, well then I'm just gonna chill by the beach all day. So the reason I am who I am, and the reason that like you guys, who we all get to be safe and protected, is because I don't put myself first. Like, I think when people are like, I want to put myself first. Now, once again, remember, this is cultural. I could be wrong. This is just my worldview. Could be entirely wrong. When I hear someone say, men specifically, if I'm being, because once again, where I'm from culturally, like, there's different set of rules for men and women.
Yeah, it's
right.
Fun.
And women get to benefit from a lot of things that men don't get to benefit from, and men get to benefit from a lot of things that women don't get to benefit from.
Absolutely.
So when one of my female friends is like, I want to put myself first, or I want to focus on myself, I'm like, kumbaya, great, go for it. When I hear a man say that, I'm like, so what you're saying is you're selfish. That's the way my brain registers. It's like, okay, so you don't want to be responsible for anything or anyone but yourself. To me, that's selfish. That's just me personally.
But that's the old school respect that we talked about before. It's part of it, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe you and I were just living in the wrong era.
No. I mean,
maybe you and I we're old school. We need to go back 100 years.
It was better. So I have another question, Iman, is because more money, more problems. No, we say that many times, but I'm curious. For you, at what number does money stop solving problems and actually start creating them? There is like a moment or a number, actually.
Yeah. So it's basically, it's not about money. It's about complexity. So, for example, if you could have $1 billion in your bank account, or you could have $1,000 in your bank account, but both lives come with the same amount of complexity, of course $1 billion is fucking better. Like, of course. But it's just the level of the amount of complexity you need to go through, and how complex your life needs to be in order to get to that $1 billion. That's what makes, when people are like, oh, more money, more problems, it's because basically what you have is so much complexity in your life. You have so much just noise. You're like your brain is just firing, so because you have this property and that property, and you're taking care of this person and this person. You have 7 staff here, and you have 3 staff there, and then you have 12 different bank accounts, and then you have these 7 companies, and then you have these investments and that and this and that. Like, it's just the noise. That's what makes life complicated. And then when people are like, oh, more money, more problems, it's actually more complexity, more problems. So the truth is, there is for every business, because every business is different, and every business it also depends. Like, so for example, let's say you're building a software company, or let's say you're building like a physical,
something I'm doing actually. Yes.
Let's say you're building a software company or a physical product brand. Generally, in those businesses, the first 5 years really fucking sucks. But if you can get past those 5 years, generally the company just keeps kind of growing and growing. We were with my dear friend Guillaume from Lemlist yesterday. He's been building it for 8 years now. It's now 45 million ARR. Multi $100 million company. He's not even the CEO anymore. He's just the chairman. He advises. The CEO runs it. Mm-hmm. So like, there's certain businesses where you get to that point where you can kind of step away. And there's certain businesses where the bigger it gets, the more complex it gets. So I find that a lot with info. A lot of people in info, that's why I tell people in the info industry or the knowledge industry, like, first of all, focus on profit. Don't focus on revenue, because revenues are irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You're not going to sell your company. I know there's some rare, listen, we bought Console.com. But once again, we bought it for $1.7 million and the domain's worth $3 million. So like, and that's why I always try to remind, that was one of the reasons I bought as well, because I just got so sick and tired of people being like, oh, these are sellable assets. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, so all that to say, there are certain businesses where you just need to realize what's the complexity level and what do you want out of life. So for me, I worked really hard from 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like, all I did was work. Like, I was so focused. I was like, and I don't mean this in any rude or disrespectful way. Like, I was pretty much autistic. Like, if you know those people you meet and all they talk about is work, you can't have a conversation with them about anything that isn't about driving the business forward or betterment or this. Like, you know those people. They're not fun to be around. They're not enjoyable people to hang out with, right? But sometimes you have to be in that.
True, yeah.
Sometimes you have to be in that place in those early years. That's where I was. And then 2019, I kind of let myself finally enjoy things. And then basically from 2019, 2020, and 2021 for 3 years, I lived at 70% of my potential. But I knew that. And sometimes that's fine because I was more interested in like, let me start enjoying my life and let me go just buy every single film camera and analog camera in the world and just like mess around with that. Or I would spend like months just like obsessing over candles. And I would buy every single candle you can imagine, just obsess over it. And I would start having these little hobbies and stuff. And what's so interesting is my business was growing in that time because I found that it made you a more rounded individual and you understood the world better. But it was about 2022. One day, I can't explain it. I just woke up and I was like, you know what? I just want to give it 100%. I want to give it 110%. And I've been in that zone ever since 2022. Now, who knows? I always laugh with my friends. I'm like, who knows? Maybe in 10 years, you guys call me when there's a problem. Because trust me, like when there's a problem, I'm the one who's fixing it. Everyone's problems, I'm the one who's fixing it. Maybe in 10 years, I might go, you know what? Don't call me anymore. I've done my time.
That's your problem.
It's your fucking problem now. Like I did my time. I did my job. I fixed a bunch of, now it's my time to focus on me. And by the way, I think like as you get further on in life and you've given your heart and your soul to everyone around you and you've built this infrastructure and by the way, that doesn't mean you need to have a company with hundreds of employees and this and that. And like, that just means for me, like being a man just means you're responsible for even just one person. Like even if you're just responsible just for one person or you help one person or you make one person's lives better. If you do that for enough years, I think at a certain point you are allowed to be like, okay, you know what? I did my time. I helped everyone out, and now I actually can focus on me. Like I think later on in your life, you can be like that.
Then family will come. So you're still responsible for them.
True,
somewhere. Yeah.
True, touche. So yeah, all that to say, I don't know where I'm going to be in 10 years. Maybe in 10 years I do go, you know what? Like now it's time to focus on me. But as of right now, I'm loving what I'm doing. And the reason I bring that whole thing up is I realized in those years between 2019, 2020, and 2021, I was like, I'm just going to give it 70%, but 70% is fine. And I always try to remind people when it comes to like your career and your income and stuff is very similar to your health. Like if someone trains twice a week, if someone doesn't train, of course you're going to go, hey, maybe you should train. If someone trains once a week, you're like, hey, you should probably increase it. Twice a week, probably increase it. 3 times a week. Okay, it's a good place now, but you could probably do a little bit more. 4, okay, good. You're probably in a happy place. 5, okay, cool. You're doing more than you need to. Nice. 6, okay, you're really going for it. 7, okay, this is a law. You're training every single day, but whatever. If you like it, you like it. Now, if you start training twice a day or 3 times a day, most people go, this is too much. Like you're actually, the extra benefits you're getting, the amount of extra effort you're putting in, you're not getting the same amount in benefits. And that's the same way when it comes to making money and having a business. For majority of people, you want your business to work for you, you want your business to work for you, you don't want to work for your business. Like, so for example, for those years, the business was working me. The business was my servant. Now, I'm the business's servant. I work for the business. The business doesn't work for me. Now, I'm cool with that because I have experienced what it's like to like live a lifestyle, have like a lifestyle business. And for me, like I did it was cool. Like, but I'm just a very intense person. And of course, I also, I guess, accomplished and, achieved a lot of things quite early on, like making your first million at 18, which is, by the way, not normal. And like, if you're 23 and you haven't made your first million, like just relax, chill out. Like, despite what you see on the internet, you're not behind. Like, you can chill.
I love the way how you explain that. It's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
totally
but most people don't think that. For everyone, I don't know why. If you speak to someone who's like, I train 3 times a day, you'd be like, unless you're a professional athlete, why? This is unnecessary. Like, you're really not getting many more benefits, but you're having to put so much more into this thing. So But they
It's not
don't
very
think about that
common
with their
to.
career.
It's not very common to hear something like that from a mentor or a guru. Most of the time, out there, I mean, when I check out the video, blah blah blah, hard work hard, 24 hours, isolated. And I totally agree with you with your words. Absolutely.
Well, once again, there's no right or wrong if that's what you want. Because listen, for me, all I do is work. All I do is think about work.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen, of course, I enjoy my life, but like when I'm enjoying my life, I'm still thinking about work. But that's a decision that I make. That doesn't mean that it's right for everyone else, and that doesn't mean that people need to feel the pressure to.
Absolutely.
Everything you do in your life, at the end of the day, you should always weigh up what's it bringing to my life and what's it taking away. And your business is the same way, and your career is in the same way. And if you're not happy with it, change it. And I can tell you right now, honestly, like bringing down your business 70%. It's not going to change your life. But usually the last 30% where you're stretching your business and trying to grow it, that's what brings 90% of the headaches. That's what brings the 90% of the complexity. And the complexity is what causes you to have a bad life. It's not the money, it's the complexity. The more noise you have in life, then you can't enjoy life. And that's kind of what I explain to people as well. Like for me, if I'm in a beautiful this, that, whatever, the nicest of everything that we experience, like of course it's great, but my experience of it is very different than someone else's experience of it because they get to enjoy it with no noise. I have so much noise going on in my life, and really successful people, they have noise always. There's always this stuff, there's this thing that needs to be done, that thing, so you can't even enjoy the things that you have. So you're better off. Like my best memories for example in Cape Town, my best memories was in my friend's Ford Focus. And I've had so many better memories than that, than having a convoy of this, that, supercars.
Mega yacht, yeah.
Yeah, because like you get to really enjoy things. So there's no right or wrong. I think people just really need to evaluate like what do they want, not what other people want for their life or what they think makes them successful or this, that. Like actually, what do you want?
Yeah, absolutely, and be grateful. So let's start with the AB game, okay? Last one. So you have to choose discipline or talent,
Discipline.
speed or perfection,
Speed.
peace or success. That's a difficult one for me.
Depends who you are. For me,
For you, no, it's your answer.
success.
Personal success. Money or time,
Time.
but with no money.
It depends on the trade-off. How much time am I getting back?
All right, yeah, makes sense. Loro piano o Zegna?
Oof.
Loro.
Tough one. I'd say Xenia.
Really?
Yeah, these days.
I would say Loro.
Yeah?
Probably yes.
What about Brunello?
I love Brunello. I have
Brunello's
so many stuff of
top.
Brunello. Yeah, Brunello Cucinelli I really love. I really love his cashmere. It's perfect. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But sorry, Brunello. I think Loro Piana and Zegna are like the top level.
Yeah.
You know, especially with our style, which is very similar.
Yeah.
The old money style. You know, for us, those brands are the best one. I think. Patek or Richard Mille?
Patek.
All the time. Italy or France? That's difficult, huh?
You put me in a
say
difficult
that.
spot.
For me, of course, Italy.
Okay.
I know it's
It
not
depends
easy.
for what.
Holiday. 1 month holiday.
What time of the year?
Summertime.
I love south of France too much, but Italy
yeah,
is
that's
like.
why I know.
But Italy, man, Italy's just. I think Italy as a country has everything, like everything you could ever want. Like just between the skiing, between the metropolitan cities, between south of Italy, like it just got everything. So, I think Italy
win.
Huh?
Italy win.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it to
Yes.
Italy. Yes, Italy wins.
So pizza at home?
Honestly, I think I'm gonna move to Italy.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
think
I'm not, but
I think within the next 10 years, I'll probably be living in Italy.
you know, I think unfortunately, with all the sadness I have, I can say Italy is not a great place to live, especially if you because of it's dangerous. There is corruption, and too much bureaucracy for everything. For me, it's the most beautiful place in the world, but I would never live there anymore. Because especially when you live in a place like Dubai, you're going to compare every single city with Dubai, and if you put everything on balance, Dubai always win. It's
So you don't think I should move to Italy?
no.
No.
For a holiday, it's the best place, but not to live. That's my opinion. And I'm Italian, so I'm sad about it. I'm very sad about it. But maybe for you it's gonna be different. I don't know. So Dubai or London?
Ooh, tough one. What, to live?
To live. Before was for a holiday.
It's tough.
now
Listen,
to
for
live.
me right now, Dubai for sure.
Dubai, okay.
But if I had to pick one, London.
Okay.
Like for me, London is, and I know this is not a popular opinion, London is the most perfect city on earth.
It's too cloudy. That's the unique thing,
Bro,
the weather.
it's the same as Milan.
Correct. It's too cloudy also.
That's just a Europe problem. For me personally,
Yeah, it's my
okay. For me personally, whether people like it or not, London is still the capital of Europe.
Yeah, of course.
For
Even
me,
if
Europe
it's-
is the
yeah.
best continent in the world from a living perspective, and just like the 4 seasons, of course, yes, I get it, whatever, it's cloudy at times, this, that, but so's Paris, so's Milan, so's everywhere else in Europe. And there's no major metropolitan city in Europe where within like an hour and a half, you're like you're on an estate like this. Like if you do, the thing is you need to have a lot of money to do London right. Like if you're in a fortunate financial position, bro, you can live like a king in London, and you can live very, very well. And I think as well, like Paris,
British way.
pardon?
In a British way.
Yeah,
which is-
yeah, and you need to have your place in the countryside. You need to have your place in London. You have your specific security protections, and it's just London's so beautiful from an architecture perspective, in my opinion. Like Paris is beautiful, but it's beautiful of the same thing. Like Paris just all looks the same, or majority of it looks the same.
Yeah.
Whereas like London is 16 different cities in one. Like when you go from Mayfair to St. John's Wood to Canary Wharf to Notting Hill to like, bro, they're all to Brixton to like, they're all just so different. It's like you're in different like cities.
Cambridge. I love Cambridge.
Bro,
yeah.
it's just,
Yeah,
I'm still, I know not a popular opinion, but I still love London.
Yeah, I agree. Last one. Would you prefer? Do you prefer actually eating like pizza at home or going to fine dining restaurant, very beautiful 5-star Michelin, blah blah blah?
I don't like fine dining.
No,
I'm
you don't
like, I'm not a food connoisseur at all. Like
Okay,
have you ever had Russian food?
Not really.
Yeah, it's not the nicest.
Okay.
Like Russian food, like Russian people eat for fuel. We don't really eat for.
For like
Yeah.
Okay.
My palate is not as mature as yours. I'm not as sophisticated with that sort of stuff. So for me, bro, to be honest, I just eat. My chef hates it, but I just eat steak 3 times a day. And then when I'm out, I'll eat whatever. But yeah, I keep it very simple, bro. I can eat the same thing every day.
steak 3 times a day.
Yep.
It's a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Iman, thank you so much. Thank you for these interviews. Well, I mean, it was very inspiring.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
I
Thank
really
you for having
appreciate
me.
your time. Yeah, no, absolutely. I wish you the best, but you deserve it. So just keep going.
Thank you, bro.
Would you like to stop now or keep climbing? Keep climbing.
Keep climbing.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm fortunate that I'm 25 and I have a lot of energy. And I think, some people who...
Because you reach so many milestones at such a young age. That's why, it's unbelievable.
But
it's unbelievable.
But I think it's just, I don't think I have. Like, I really genuinely, like, when people are like, you've accomplished so much, I'm like, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm just very good at not playing the comparison game. I don't compare myself to anyone. I'm like, I just know there's so much more I could do. And I said this like the other day, actually. There's so much shit I want to learn how to do. Like, I would love to just dedicate, because there's so much stuff to do in life. Like, I would love to dedicate myself 3 years to just fishing or golf. I know I'm going to play golf in my 40s.
A beautiful hobby.
Bro, there's just so much shit to do. I just don't understand how people get bored. I really don't understand how people get bored in life. There's so much left to do. There's so many, like, even big physical, like, accomplishments I want to do. And there's just, I have no interest in stopping.
Nice. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you absolutely enjoy. Please, I have to say something in Italian
Of
to
course,
finish.
of course, of course.
Mi raccomando, se vi è piaciuto lasciate un bel like e lasciate anche un bel commento e ricordatevi di iscrivervi al canale. Thank you so much, Iman, again.
Appreciate it.
For this chat, and of course, see you on the next episodes. Bye bye.